financed it, but it was Clark County and the city of Vancouver got a grant to do what we did actually on our own, and that's to look at the barriers within their code. And this is one of the things that came out of it, would be to have a common agreement between everyone in Clark County that the builders knew it didn't change from city to city.
So I have a few questions for you. I guess one of the things that I'm having a hard time understanding, this is not an interlocal agreement?
No,
This is a declaration
of support.
Of support. I've never seen anything like that I can remember. Is there a reason? I mean, why are we taking that approach to it rather than?
This is the approach the Clark County Commissioners wanted to go with. An interlocal agreement is more binds us into certain things.
Right.
And this is pretty much just saying we declare that we support this standard, the ICC 700,
Okay.
being everyone use it in Clark County.
That makes sense. It's just the wording was kind of strange. Why a declaration of, you know, just hypothetically,
Yes, sir.
if we were to not pass a declaration of support and just had parity with everyone else's green standards, what's the downside in that?
The downside to me would be weighing the value of sending a message to other cities that we don't want to join with you when there's really no cost to us. There's no downside to us. To me, that would be the greatest downside, just the message you would send that you don't want to join as a group.
Sure.
I really don't see any other downsides to it.
And so this is the exact same language that's being passed by all of the jurisdictions?
Yes, and in fact, I have the original on my desk. Clark County Commissioners have signed it, City of Vancouver signed it, City of Ridgefield signed it, City of La Center has signed it, and I forget which city it's going to this week for approval.
So it's not necessarily the wording that's in it, it is the spirit of cooperation.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It also, if we all agree that we're going to all the building inspectors need to be trained on ICC 700.
Okay.
So, yes, we can do it ourselves and just say that's what we're going to use. But it's a declaration that we're supporting that countywide will all use the same one so that we don't go and get training in many different things. We've all agreed this is the one we get training in.
Sure, I get that.
I think it's a good statement to the building industry itself as well,
Mm-hmm.
directly from the electeds and from the
Right.
departments.
Well, what was
within the
happening?
Jurisdictions.
Right. What was happening was a builder would have someone who wanted to build a green home, just like we had up in Lookout Ridge, and they'd go in one city and everything would be fine. Then they'd go to the other one and they were applying different green standards. There's lots of green standards out there. And it was initiated from the desire of homeowners wanting it, asking their builders to build it, and then the builders running into problems when they got to the city of this, what standard are we going to use?
No, I'm just listening at this point.
I really like this. I do appreciate you asking that question. It does make a lot more sense when you start to consider what's the difference between interlocal and a declaration. But I think we do need to be perceived as being collaborative, because I think we all know what problems we have with the budget this year and next year, and those problems are not going to go away, nor are they going to go away for any city or county. And so I think we're going to have to find many more ways to have true collaboration and share some kinds of services with other jurisdictions. So the more collaborative and cooperative that we appear, I think the more that we will be perceived as being wanting to participate in other, real service-oriented actions.
Well, and if all the building inspectors in the whole county are being trained in ICC 700, what a great resource for each of the building officials. They can call each other and go, hey, I had this situation, how did you apply this?
I'm gonna have to rain on the parade here. I've got a series of objections to implementing this voluntary standard. First one is that it makes housing more expensive and less affordable, because it imposes new standards. Makes them
Only if you
voluntary,
want to.
but in essence, it imposes them. It raises energy costs. It justifies the imposition of additional cost with questionable theories and manipulated data. And I'm getting all this from this booklet on the standard here. Implementation of voluntary standards represents the camel's nose under the tent. Mandatory standards will follow this as sure as night follows day. Only the timing is in question. And the final one is that this is all about reducing our standard of living. Cut back on hot water use. Cut back on how much you're using to heat your home, or how much you can heat your home. That's the next one that's coming. Like Michelle Obama said, you really don't think that Obama's gonna let you set your thermostat on 72. Well, this is the type of thing that implements that kind of philosophy. And I am not in favor of that kind of philosophy. And I understand that you want to be collaborative, so do I, but not on something like this. This is attacking the freedom of homeowners to build the home that they want to build.
It's actually giving them more the ability to build the home they want to build for those that choose to do that, though.
The fact that Washougal didn't endorse it doesn't mean that they can't use it here in Washougal.
Sorry, Dave, I don't agree on that one.
Nor do I.
This is nothing more than a way to allow someone to build a house if they want to, and it also sends a message out to the builders who are in favor of this. Hey, if it brings housing to Washougal, I'm all for it. There's nothing in it that says it's not. It's a collaborative effort to make this thing work. It's a consistency. I don't care whether it's that or if it's training in the fire department or police department. We try to bring consistency to the board, and everybody knows what they're doing that way. And if this brings one house to Washougal because we did some consistency, then I'm totally on board.
I did speak to the building industry on this, declaration, which was interesting to hear kind of their perspective on why they support it. They do have, I think in Washougal, 2 or 3 green builders that are part of their membership. This is something that, in particular, the green builders are wanting, so that they've got some guidelines. Yeah, I think in part, I do think Dave is right. On one end, one of the reasons why they are involved in this is to be on the inside instead of waiting for mandatory green building standards to be forced on them. By working on the inside, they can fight against those mandatory mandates on the building industry. Yeah, I personally, I'm looking at this and it's voluntary, it's, what have you. I may bring a couple just minor changes to the text, but other than that, I think I'll be supporting